Hello and good afternoon, Xbox Nation. Welcome to this week's new episode of the Xbox Factor Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and I got a big cheese smile on my face. Why? Well, because I'm here with you. I'm here with Jamie. We're going to be talking about Xbox. We're going to be talking about PlayStation and the marketing that's been going on, which I believe their exclusivity marketing is the circle is starting to shrink. Now, is it going to go away entirely? No, because companies like money. But I think that when you see the big stories like Square Enix being hurt financially, and we're talking in the millions, we're not talking about a couple of bucks here. We're talking about heavily invested millions of dollars into their franchises get hurt by PlayStation gamers not buying them in droves like I'm assuming were promised by PlayStation. And I have a couple of examples for specifically with games that came out this year that are currently PlayStation exclusives. And, we'll get into that in a second. And of course, the back end, well, Black Ops 6 is happening this Friday. And I'm going to tell you this, folks. Look, I'm not a COD guy. I haven't been a COD guy or a dude bro shooter Call of Duty guy since the Xbox 360 era. I just haven't. I've played a little bit of it. I've dabbled in Warzone. It's just not my bag. But this particular Call of Duty, thanks to both play tests that they had over the summer, got me good. I mean, they hooked me good. So I am, for the first time in a very, very long time, going to jump into multiplayer first rather than single player. And of course, the marketing. The marketing has been so bombastic, so on point, that you have the Fixer, as he's known, sitting down, pretending he's Fat Joe, being interviewed by Shannon Sharp. I mean, just complete madness. And guess what, folks? Activision is advertising it in Xbox Game Pass. Oh my God. I didn't think that was possible. As a matter of fact, there were some people in the gaming community, of course, no names on this show, that said that it was illegal for the owned Call of Duty by Microsoft to, advertise Xbox Game Pass. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but yeah, people said it. And, I have receipts, but, I'm not a showing receipt kind of guy. These people know who they are. They should be embarrassed, and they probably are. But as it stands right now, it's just me and Jamie Moran. And you know what? That's good, because I am fantastic at a two-man show, and so is Jamie. Unfortunately, Infinite Umber is under the weather, and he will be back next week. Louis, Crazy Louis, as he's known, should potentially be joining us. He's on a business call. We'll see if we can get him in on the back end of the show. But Jamie, have the Arkham Asylum inmates been chasing you down? And more importantly, how are you feeling?
Outside of being under the weather, I'm actually really good. I'm sure some people saw online over the weekend, on Sunday, I was just, chilling. I was doing some writing, as I do sometimes, editing videos, had a meal with my mother, and people were going after me just because I like posting about Xbox.
Scary.
And
scary. Yeah.
And the really sad part, these were by people that I've had blocked for not just days or weeks, but months and years.
Yeah.
So like people I wasn't even aware that they existed because I don't care.
Right.
Were upset just because I prefer Xbox. But I mean, it is what it is. People need help, unfortunately, and I hope they do seek help, because if you spend your Sunday afternoon stalking a full-time, adult male, then you definitely need help. Decide. But other than that, I'm good.
Well, look, I'm going to say this. Social media is gross. X has gotten worse since they changed the policies of the block, meaning that these pieces of trash that come into your feed and are just immature people that actually need to sit down on a couch, that you can tell by the way they write something. And I was trained to know this. You can tell someone is mentally challenged in a certain way by the way that they write. And unfortunately, social media is a wide open platform, and anyone can jump on and be a keyboard coward, and that's just what it is. The disappointment specifically about X is that now people have access to your tweets, even though you have them blocked. They considered cyber bullies, and Musk and the powers that be kind of just was like, yeah, you know what, freedom of speech, which I don't agree with. And again, I think the policies need to go revert back, and hopefully they do go back, because according to a couple of people I spoke to legally, I believe that Apple and Google have certain things in place for the ability of a consumer to block a person if they're being harassed or bothered or bullied. And even though these people don't have interactions with you, they can still clip your stuff and post about you, which I don't think they should have access to. But that's here nor there. We're here to talk about video games. We're here to talk about two very pointed topics. And the first one that we're going to open up with, Jamie, is a story that I pulled from friend of this show, personal friend of mine, friend of the community, one half of the Xbox 2 podcast with Randolph Thor. Of course, we're talking about Jez Corden of Windows Central. He posted a pretty interesting read regarding Sony attempting to block another game from coming to Xbox. Again, listen, Jamie, you had posted about this. I thought it was a great topic. And I'm going to say this, like I did in the opening, folks. I believe that you're going to start to see the circles of big publishers doing deals with Sony consistently shrink until they're none. Now, marketing deals, like say, for instance, PlayStation gets to be able to market Grand Theft Auto 6. And they paid oodles of money to be able to do that. That is something that's going to continue. They're going to continue to have marketing rights for certain games because obviously they want to sell the game. They also, but more importantly, they want to sell the brand of PlayStation and make people go out to buy a particular game that's branded, even though it's not exclusive, it's branded under the PlayStation banner. That's good marketing. They do it to great degree. What I'm referring to, Jamie, is the actual exclusivity deals. I honestly believe that the exclusivity deals that they have literally made PlayStation what it is are going to start to shrink. And I think that big publishers like Square Enix, seeing the massive losses that they took over the course of these signed deals, have made a lot of publishers and even smaller developers a little hesitant. One such developer we're going to talk about in a second. But again, money does talk. But I think that if you look specifically, if you want to take a case in point, if you will, look at what Sega has done specifically with Atlas. Atlas games were traditionally on PlayStation, skipping Xbox. That has gone the way of the dodo. Persona was a big one, and that is no longer a marketed game or an exclusive game for PlayStation. As a matter of fact, my Xbox had marketing for Persona 3 Reloaded. They're probably rumored to have Persona 6 marketing. They just had marketing for Metaphor ReFantazio. And all of the games that have come before it that were originally stuck on PlayStation found their way not only to Xbox, but some of them even into Xbox Game Pass upon launch. A lot of the Yakuza series came the way of that. And that is a really, really big deal. So before I bring Jamie in, I just want to read, of course, what Jez had to write. Of course, again, Jez Corden of Windows Central. He wrote the article. He posted it yesterday. He said PlayStation tried to lock a major third-party game into an exclusive deal, but the devs said no. But still, it looks like Xbox fans will continue having to endure exclusionary deals like Silent Hill 2 going forward should Xbox start doing doing similar or the same. Now, he goes on to say, and this is what I love about Windows Central. They have a specific section that really does give you the gist of the article, and I love it about it. It's called the "What You Need to Know" section. I think it's brilliant. So, Crimson Desert is the game that we're talking about. Is an upcoming action adventure title from Korea-based Pearl Abyss, and it looks pretty damn great according to Jez. The game has been announced for Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5, and PC, although there's another timeline where Xbox would have been excluded. A recent session with Kaiwoom Securities in Korea with Pearl Abyss revealed that PlayStation had attempted to lock out Crimson Desert in much of the same way it did with games like Silent Hill, Final Fantasy VII, and others. Microsoft has seen some of its own third-party exclusivity deals bear fruit for Xbox in recent years, with Q1 viral hit Palworld and soon Stalker 2 set to release on November 20th. Now you specifically, Jamie, and I'm glad that you're here, have publicly talked about Crimson Desert, on how good it actually looks, on how big of a game this is going to be. Now, not so much is it going to be the biggest game on Xbox, but it's going to be a big game across multiple platforms. So I have in front of me more. Let me see if I can get it over here. More particulars of what the developer actually said and why. See, I want this to be clear. Pearl Abyss did not do this for console war rhetoric. Like, hey, we have to defend Xbox, ladies and gentlemen, so we can't take a deal from Sony. No, that's actually not what happened. And I'm going to read verbatim. This is, again, directly from Pearl Abyss during the interview. It was Google was used to translate, and this is the correct translation. And it says this: We were also offered an exclusive contract with conditions such as a ban on Xbox release for a certain period of time from Sony, but we decided to proceed with self-publishing as we judged that self-publishing would yield higher expected profits. Now, again, it's a simple quote, Jamie, but it is a quote that is pointed. And I think that, again, I'm not in the room. This is just my opinion. It is not fact. So please do not clip me and say that, oh, Boom is saying that all deals are done for Sony. That is not the truth. They're going to continue to have deals. They're going to continue to try and get games to be locked behind the PlayStation paywall, and they're going to pay for it. How many people or developers or publishers are going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe? I don't know, but I think that Square Enix specifically, which is one of the biggest publishers in gaming, is going to be used as a test case as to why publishers and devs, especially smaller devs, should not take that deal. Let's get your thoughts on the recent reveal from Pearl Abyss.
I mean, I just checked. I've been talking about Crimson Desert on Twitter since 2019. Wow. So, like, I clearly have some interest in the game. This, for people that don't know, this game originally started off as an MMO, but the project became so ambitious that they changed it into a full-on single-player game, single-player RPG, and it's very much inspired by games like The Witcher, Red Dead Redemption, Skyrim, and even Breath of the Wild. It's going to be a really ambitious game, and in my opinion, it's probably going to be one of the top 3 biggest games of 2025. Just because of what they're doing with the game. And, for people that don't know, there's like 2 hours of footage that people can watch on YouTube already. Looks fantastic. But the exclusivity thing, like, I saw this coming from a mile away because it's a Korean game. It's a big game and it's a single player game. So, like, I've always thought Sony will go for it. And, whenever Sony has a gap in their first party, portfolio for a year, they do tend to go for exclusivity for games. We've seen with Black Myth Wukong, in other games in the past. So I kind of saw it coming, but it's good that they rejected it because as much as people like to harp on saying Xbox guys don't buy games, the truth is they do. It's just less than PlayStation because the amount of install base. But these developers, they know these games cost a crap ton of money to make now, and putting your game on one console is just spreading yourself too thin. And you have budgets now that are inflating to the hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, hell, the next Witcher game is projected to be $400 million. So, like,
Yep.
that game has to be an instant success, even though it's out 4, 5, 6 years from now.
And it will be just based on its popularity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like Crimson Desert, like a lot of people that have vaguely heard about this still think it's an MMO. A lot of people still haven't heard of it. And we don't know what they're going to be like with marketing. So like they have to be very careful with this game. I do think it's going to be a massive hit, but even they are projecting that they're going to sell 3 to 4 million in the first year across all platforms. And next year is going to be a busy year with Grand Theft Auto, all the big first party titles and all that stuff, the Switch 2. And I think the time of these deals happening all the time, it's just done. Too many developers are losing out because if you like, let's look at Final Fantasy. Square Enix has learned whenever, let's say, Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 comes out and PlayStation has an install base of 70 million PlayStation 5s, they don't really have 70 million people buying that game.
They do not.
It's like 10 million max on a good day. And even Square Enix has learned, like they've said, they go into a full multi-platform strategy going forward, including Final Fantasy for Xbox. And they're testing the waters right now with some smaller, older titles like Visions of Mana, Legend of Mana, and the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. And people seem to really like them. And over time, we're just going to see less of these deals happen. And I know like people like doing list wars and saying this third-party exclusive game is on the PlayStation list of games for that year. But at the end of the day, who really cares? Like, we've seen so many studios shut down in the past 2 years alone. And hell, the studio that made Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown just got shut down today. So, like, anyone is at risk at the minute. And these developers, they know, like, look, they're going to get some marketing buzz if they go exclusive for a few months. And then the marketing dollars are a lot less for a timed exclusive when the game comes to a different platform later on. So I think it's going to be a big win for the developers because, again, they're going to get the max amount of, like, eyes on the game when the game comes out. It's probably going to be a long-running franchise. And it's good to see that publishers aren't just taking the bag straight away because in the long run, it actually hurts them.
So, to add some context to what you're saying, folks, I'm all about evidence-based conversation. You've heard me mention that before. Numbers, you cannot argue. You want to have an opinion about something, sure, have that opinion, but it's very hard to then translate that opinion to actual numbers. So, what I wind up doing is I took a couple of screenshots of games that were specifically mentioned, discussed publicly, both through social media and through games media. And the conversation quickly went to initial sales and then complete dead air, Jamie. So here's some of my points. One of the bigger games that were did not sell well on PlayStation was Rise of the Ronin. Now, when that game first came out, it was announced that it had sold well over 1 million units. So I like to have actual facts from places like VGC and like Windows Central to be able to back up a conversation that we're going to have regarding sales, because those are two particular sites that I trust indubitably. And I looked and looked and looked and looked and looked, and all I kept finding was this particular point about Yosuda's confirmation of what the company observed as a good indicator of the game selling well because it had sold above 1 million. And I went looking to see what the actual sales as of today's show was, and I couldn't find them. because no one's talking about it. Sony's not talking about it. The developer's not talking about it. So then I said, you know what? Stellar Blade. That game looks dope. And if it was on Xbox, I would have bought it. And at the end of the year, it doesn't look like it's going to come to Xbox at least anytime soon. So if I can get it for $30, like I did last year during Black Friday, I'll pick it up. I'll play through it because the game looks dope. I'm not going to front. But like Rise of the Ronin, I wanted to find out what the actual total sales were as of October 22 of 2024. Guess what, Jamie? I couldn't find them. What I did find, though, is the almost exact same thing. A statement from developer ShiftUp, who said this: Stellar Blade has reportedly sold over 1 million copies on PS5. And this is according to developer ShiftUp. This might not sound like a noteworthy achievement, according to the article, to some, but it's quite the milestone for a brand new IP and a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Now, at the time of this writing, which says June 26, 2024, what didn't they have over 55 million PS5s in the wild? Right? That's so if 1 million sold to 55 million potential PS5 owners, Jamie, that's not a great number. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, it's 1 million copies, but it probably should have been 5 million copies, according to the way people reviewed the game. So I went looking and I said, you know what? I went out and bought Silent Hill 2. Now, I have not played it as of yet because all I've been playing is Metaphor. And I'm kind of going to put that on hiatus on Thursday because I'm jumping right into Black Ops 6 on Friday. So I don't know when I'm going to get to Silent Hill, but I bought the game. I physically bought the game, and I'm not sorry that I did. Got great reviews, looks fantastic, watched a couple of videos, and this is probably the crowning achievement for Bloober Team. Very, very excited to see what they do with their next game that was at the Xbox show last week, because that looks dope as well. So again, this is an article that was posted 3 days ago, Jamie, and it says, and I simply asked the question, how many copies of Silent Hill 2 sold? It says Konami recently confirmed that the game has sold over 1 million copies just days after its release. That's an impressive achievement, especially for a remake. Bloober Team, the developer behind the Silent Hill 2 remake, has worked carefully to bring the game to bring back the feel of the original game. Now, these numbers are physical, digital, and worldwide. This isn't just North America. This is a worldwide stat of 1 million copies of a remake, which has become the trend for PlayStation. And even though 1 million copies, 1 million of anything is good, not when you compare that to 61 plus million consoles that consistently get put in our face about how many consoles sold for PS5. I'm just saying that if you take just these 3 games and what happened with Square specifically, I think, Jamie, what my statement is regarding exclusivity deals, the circle is going to shrink. Any additional thoughts on what I just brought to the table?
Yeah, I think, Silent Hill being locked to one platform was a big mistake. I mean, you have a worldwide known brand such as Silent Hill that's been dormant for at least 15 years. I kind of saw it coming because look, let's be honest. We see a lot of people online that boast sales numbers and say, "Oh, this game's going to sell amazing on PlayStation because of the install base." But the truth is, these games don't. Right? Some games do, but most don't. And I think, like we're saying, the days of these exclusivity titles, for 6 months a year, I think it's over. It's not beneficial to the developer at all. Outside of maybe the first marketing push, but like, as good as Silent Hill might be, nobody's talking about it at the minute. And they've locked themselves off to a single part of one fan base because, horror games can still be considered niche. So I think this game was never going to sell that well on PlayStation just because of how it's been marketed. It's unfortunate because the game looks fantastic, But I think, Konami's probably regretting doing this because it's clearly an expensive game. I just think that, you know, we see so many people pushing back on Xbox, announcing multi-platform titles, and we all know why. Like, Microsoft's $1 trillion company. That's how much they valued, and even they looking at how much games cost now. And then you have companies like Konami, and Konami's like gaming business is tiny compared to everything else they do. But even they know like these games cost too much. In some recent interviews, they were talking about how future Metal Gear Solid 2 and 1 remakes are likely to happen, but they are going to be really expensive games. And I just think these deals are done. It doesn't benefit anyone outside of list war nerds on Twitter.
You're 1,000% right. So I want to bring up a particular person in the chat who I love being here, Yuzu Ichikawa. First of all, welcome as always. Love to have you in the chat. You bring up a fantastic point. Fantastic point. Yuzu says Silent Hill 2 remake was also on PC. And I think that what that does, what you just said right there, is not only a brilliant point, but it does drive the point home for me even further. So if Silent Hill, which is a remake of the original and a damn good one that I gladly and publicly announced I was buying for PS5 because it's my favorite in the series. Of all of the Silent Hill games, that's the one that is tip of spear for me. So I went out and bought it, full boat, no problem, no questions asked. If they only sold over 1 million, and it's both available on PS5 and PC, that's also not that makes the conversation for PlayStation worse. Because my question is, who sold more? And if I were to take a blind stab at it, and this is not console war rhetoric, Yuzu, this is just me, hey, PC is a bigger audience. I bet more PC gamers bought the game than PlayStation 5 gamers. And that's just that. I mean, is it fact? Well, I don't know because I don't have the numbers, but it's certainly a good assumption. And if I got it wrong, by all means, I'll be the first one to stand in front of the class and be like, "Yep, I got it wrong. More PlayStation gamers bought it." I don't think that's the case. I think what you're going to see here is, to Jamie's amazing point, games are getting more and more expensive, and the risk and reward scenario for companies, especially smaller developers and publishers, is the risk worth putting this as an exclusive, taking the bag, whatever that bag might be? Is that bag is worth taking from Sony when we are potentially boxing out an entire Xbox audience? And or that could be added to the conversation. Instead of taking the bag for the exclusivity, why not take the bag to get it into Xbox Game Pass? Because then you're winning on both sides, right? That's a double winner. That's a winner chicken dinner for me. Because if you take the Game Pass bag, your game is going to go onto Game Pass. You're getting a bag from Microsoft, but you're still selling your game on potentially PS5, PC, and eventually Switch 2. Unlike Sony, who is just trying to gobble up all of these games to their platform, and they're doing it because they understand that A, it sells consoles, but B, more importantly, they don't have a roadmap. They do not have any of their first-party games ready. So they have to have content that you can only get on PS5. But I really think that the circle is going to close. Again, the marketing deal is totally different, and apologies to me for actually wording it that way. I actually looked at it and I said, "Oh, marketing. This is why people are getting in their feels." The marketing deals are going to be the marketing deals. They're going to. I mean, again, we've heard rumors that they're going to market Grand Theft Auto 5. If they are, that's going to be a big W for Sony, no doubt about it. And it's going to cost them a lot of money. But they don't have to spend marketing on Call of Duty anymore. That's where they got the money from. So we'll see. But let me catch up on Super Chats. And then, of course, Jamie, we will get into the second topic of the show. Now, the first Super Chat and this is a good one. I'm so excited for this, and I think you should be too. And like a real fan, and I'm not putting myself above others, the DLC that he's talking about, I bought on PlayStation, I bought on Switch, and I bought it on Xbox because I own Vampire Survivors on all 3 platforms because that dev is a one-man show who I want to see do another game. I want to see a Vampire Survivors 2, and I wanted him to take it to like maybe the 16-bit era. Like this is the easily the 8-bit era that he's working with. I'd love to see the next one look a little bit better, be a little bit bigger. And of course, Jay Slay, generous friend of the program, drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, boom, did you see that they did it? Vampire Survivors is officially Castlevania Survivors. Dreams do come true. I mean, listen, I'm not going to front. I'm a big nerd. So, of course, this talk, you can't see it, but I'm getting goosebumps because A, I love Castlevania. B, I love Vampire Survivors. And the fact that they're officially crossing over where you're going to have the ability to play every one of the Belmonts just has me tickled pink to the point. I'm not even fronting. I got goosebumps from my toes to the tip of my head because I'm an OG who appreciates where games came from. Vampire Survivors is a game that I'm crazy addicted to and cannot wait to give give the Ponicle my money. I want to throw it at them. Just take my money, please. Ballantone, who has been a channel member for a whopping 15 months. So Ballantone, thank you so much for the consistent generosity. We truly appreciate it here. He says, boom, you need to check out the new Vampire Survivors DLC crossover with Castlevania LFG. Indeed, brother. I mean, listen, how could you not get excited about that? First of all, the game, when it came out, what was it, like $3, $4, even $5? You can play that game. I don't know exactly. I'm going to look it up when we get to the next topic. I think I got like 10 plus days in it. It might be more. It's one of my favorite games. It honestly is one of my favorite games of all time. It's so easy to play and so difficult to master. And that's what I love about it. And the fact that Castlevania is coming to town. Yes, yes, and yes. We also have here Will Broke Boy Lewis. Will, thank you so much for being here. And of course, thank you so much for the very generous $5 super chat. He says this, I saw something that at least in Europe, Silent Hill 2 was like a 65-35 split in PlayStation's favor. And you know what? I didn't see that. And if that's the case, that's pretty good. Europe is pretty big for PlayStation. Actually, it's why they have like I think it's easily 3-1 in Europe. It might be more for PlayStation, Xbox. I don't know what the numbers are with PS, PlayStation versus PC, but thanks for the point out, brother. That's excellent. JJ saying 117 drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, this is true at the way that the industry is changing. It's just, again, JJ, it's the market is changing. The way games are being made are changing. Budgets are ballooning. Companies are downscaling. I don't want to get into the deep rabbit holes of AI and what that's going to do for development and how that's going to potentially make development faster, but also cut jobs. I mean, that's a deep, dark rabbit hole, which I hope doesn't come to fruition. But yes, these companies are here to make money. I'm here to buy games. You're here to buy games. Jamie's here to buy games. This past month has been nothing short of ridiculous how many games that I purchased, but you know, it is what it is. It's the fall. We all buy a lot of games. But you know what? I do want to move on to the next topic. And before we actually move on to the next topic, we've got to welcome in Crazy Lou Gaming. Crazy Lou, what's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Oh, man, Mr. BoomStick, I'm tired. I'm just in calls, business calls. They don't leave me alone. Boom. I mean, I wish they leave me alone, but hey, what can we do? Just got to be here, no?
Yes. Well, we're happy to have you here. We're happy to have your haunted painting on a spooky October 22nd behind us. So thank you for bringing that along with you, as always.
You know, Boom, we should do a live stream. You know, leave the camera on at October 31st. See, you know, comes out and says something.
I wouldn't be surprised if you started to see things like chairs roll across the all by themselves. I don't know, pillows floating. You know, spooky noises. Who knows? So you got here in the nick of time. We're going to be talking about the Black Ops 6 marketing. There's been some big talk about a Master Chief showing up. That was supposed to happen during Modern Warfare 3. That got scrapped at the last minute. Obviously, Black Ops 6 is going to be a much bigger game, and it's going to sell boatloads of DLC, microtransactions out the yin yang. Jamie, look, the title of this is, of course, we're talking about the marketing. Now, the marketing has, and I've seen some people, even in this chat, and make some accusations about the marketing has not been, there's not been a lot of marketing. And again, listen, if you haven't seen it, what am I going to say? I'm not your eyes. I'm not in your head. If you didn't see it, you didn't see it. I can tell you what I've seen. All I've seen is Black Ops 6 marketing. The actor that's playing the Fixer, that has basically taken over the marketing on almost everything.
You mean the replacer?
The replacer. I said the Fixer. Yeah, the replacer is here, there, and everywhere. You saw that it was in Times Square multiple times here in New York. Jamie, look, this is a two-tiered conversation. One, the marketing. And the question is exactly how big is Call of Duty going to be in 2024? Because I think it has the chance to be the biggest in probably the franchise history. I know that's a lofty goal that I am setting, but it seems like there is a buzz across the entire industry about this particular game, which, of course, if you didn't know, is the longest Call of Duty game that's ever been in development. So over 4 years for this game, and it's, again, we've seen some instances of the single player. Looks phenomenal. We've all got a chance to play the multiplayer on multiple weekends, and it's launching this Friday. But the second half of the conversation, and of course you can incorporate it any way you see fit, is I think just based on the buzz, based on the reception from both gaming media and, of course, social media, Microsoft Game Studios, who has a massive issue with their messaging and their marketing, needs to adopt this kind of viral marketing to Xbox Game Studios' first party moving forward. I think that if they don't, it's a fail. That's just my take. Let's get yours.
I mean, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, it is going to be the biggest game of the year. Like, as someone that hasn't touched multiplayer since 2011, like, that's the longest break I've had from multiplayer. Getting back into Call of Duty this year, but playing Black Ops 6, the multiplayer beta, it's some of the most fun I've ever had in a multiplayer game. The movement, it reinvigorates the entire gameplay situation, because we've had in the past like things like jetpacks, jump packs, and people have complained, but across the board, people love this multiplayer. It is really a game changer, and that's going through all modes. But I'll get into the marketing thing in a minute. But like the fact that this game is what it is has a lot of people hyped. You have Black Ops only fans that have been waiting for years for a new game to come out. And Cold War was fantastic, but that came out with the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. So we've been waiting a while for a new one. And, this looks like it could be the biggest Call of Duty in years. Modern Warfare 3, the campaign was like 4 hours long. And, kind of disappointing, but we all know that was originally meant to be an expansion. But this campaign alone has had the longest development time than any campaign ever for Call of Duty.
Yes.
It's going to be a huge campaign. You have round-based zombies returning for the first time in years, which people have been needing. And like I said, with the multiplayer, people across the board were having fun. Massive Twitch streamers, random people just loved the multiplayer, and it was so much fun. And this is the first Call of Duty I've seen in a long time where people weren't really complaining about anything. And I've never seen this much hype for a Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2 in 2009. Right? A lot of people, or might be 2010, whenever. I've seen so much hype for this. It's unreal. And when it comes to the marketing stuff, they've leaned into, viral marketing heavy. I mean, hell, the Replacer randomly showed up on one of the Sidemen videos.
Yes.
right? I was watching one of their videos, and the replacer just walked down on set and sat down on the couch and started talking. I'm thinking, wait a minute, what the hell? Like that made no sense. But like they've clearly went out of their way to get this replacer character talk about Call of Duty everywhere, and it's working. People are talking about this character because it's funny. Viral marketing does work. And in the past, I think everyone's complained about Microsoft marketing. But Call of Duty, like everywhere, it's Black Ops 6. So much excitement over it. Not just the viral marketing, but like people, like there's posters on the side of buses, trains. Like it is huge, and it's something like people have been like me and you and everyone here has been wanting Microsoft to lean into this style of marketing, and they actually doing that. I think they know that they have a massive hit on their hands, and also look at the Game Pass thing. People have been saying for like the past few months that Microsoft can't market that it's coming to Game Pass. Evidently, that's not the case. We've seen the past.
Well, I mean, the same actor that's playing. I keep saying he's the Fixer, but what is his name again, Jamie?
His name is Kevin something. Kevin.
Yes. He showed up in an Xbox Game Pass still, where he covered all the Game Pass games with Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and it's hilarious. Like it's so over the top. Like I said, go watch the interview with Shannon Sharp, because Shannon Sharp is reading. Now, obviously, Shannon's he's a funny dude. Like he's just funny in general. But he's like reading the card, and he's based on the skit that they're doing, expecting like Fat Joe to come out to talk about his history as being in hip hop. And the guy just sits down and he's like, I'm just pretend I'm Fat Joe, and he starts asking him questions about his career. And it's crazy funny, and it's over the top marketing, and it's exactly what I think. And it's my opinion. And if I'm wrong, so be it. But if there's one thing that we could all agree on, is that if there's a glaring issue with anything, Jamie, that jumps off the page almost instantly with Xbox, it is their messaging and their marketing. It has been terrible for years. They need to adopt this type of viral marketing, in my opinion.
Yeah, viral marketing works, and Xbox, like their messaging and marketing for years hasn't exactly been the best.
Exactly.
And I say that as a huge Xbox fan. It's clear, like they need to do better. But if they need to adopt this style of marketing, and I never thought I'd see John Abruzzi from Prison Break marketing Game Pass, but it is what it is. I think it's awesome. I just think it's great because I think that Call of Duty's been it's been one of the biggest games of the year, basically every year since Modern Warfare 2007. It's basically the biggest game if a GTA doesn't release most of the time. And like, there's so much hype around this. Like they're doing everything right. They're marketing it everywhere. They have viral marketing going on. They have Game Pass stuff going out there, which everyone knows about now, which is really cool. And the Game Pass thing alone, I don't think people realize how big of a deal that is. When the ABK deal went through, a lot of people were talking. Like, I know a lot of people that were talking about switching to Xbox just because they wanted to play Call of Duty in Game Pass. And for a lot of people, there's millions and millions of people that their only game they play every year is Call of Duty. And that's always going to be the case. That's the bulk of people do console warring on Twitter all the time. And 90% of these gamers that buy these consoles buy it for COD or FIFA, right?
Yeah.
And it's always going to be that way. Exclusives are nice, right? They're shiny and pretty, and you can plaster them all over marketing. But like, when it comes to people buying these consoles in bulk, it's Call of Duty players mainly. And you have so much hype around Black Ops 6, and you have Game Pass tied to that. Like, Game Pass has had a lot of marketing in the past few years in the UK, but it's to the point where I have to explain to people what Game Pass is. But as soon as the Black Ops situation came out, and people know that Black Ops is going to be in Game Pass day one, like everyone knows about it. Everyone.
Yes.
And putting that in with the viral marketing, that's going to be huge for them. So like, it's going to be a big win for Microsoft. It's going to be a big win for gamers because more people are going to be playing, and it's going to funnel more money back into the Xbox service, and we'll get more games and all that stuff. But the thing about Black Ops is, and like we've said this a million times in the past, Xbox marketing their games can be pretty bad. But with Black Ops 6, they are literally doing everything right. Campaign, they're marketing it right. Zombies, they're marketing it to the exact demographic they need to. And multiplayer has needed a change for years, but we don't want bloody jump packs again. And the omnidirectional movement, it's literally
fantastic.
It's fantastic. It's basically first person Max Payne 3 multiplayer, right? It is crazy. It's over the top. You have people flying around like chipmunks on acid. It just works. And along with the marketing, like, it's going to be the biggest Call of Duty probably ever.
I really think it is. I think you're gonna, if I recall correctly, the last one did $1 billion, I think, in 10 days. And again, I don't remember offhand, so maybe I might be wrong with it. I know that it took over a week to get that $1 billion. I think this thing breaks $1 billion in the first 4 days. Personally, just the way the marketing has been, the excitement around Call of Duty, the excitement around it being an Xbox Game Pass. Of course, Louis, there's been a lot of talk in the community about, it's gonna, we've seen some articles specifically from like GI.biz did one over the weekend that was just a bonehead kind of a opinion piece about how PlayStation is going to be better suited for numbers in the black for sales because more people own PlayStation 5s than they own Xbox Series X and S. And that's true. That's an absolute fact. It's 2-1 here in the States, worse in other countries. But just because of that fact that there were more PlayStation 5s available in the wild, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to just on principle be more people buying on PlayStation 5, because we've seen how that actually goes when it comes to sales on specific games. Now, Call of Duty is its own monster. There's no doubt about it. But getting back to the topic at hand regarding the marketing, I want to get your hot take thoughts on it. But I want to ask the opinion. You have been on this show. You have been on the Xbox International podcast, and you guys have talked about this specifically about how terrible their messaging and marketing has been. This is a clear direction on how they need to use viral marketing for some of their games. Just imagine the next Gears of War. Now, I'm not saying you're going to see a young Marcus Phoenix sitting on a couch with Shannon Sharp. Of course, you're not going to see that. But the way that they have marketed, especially the single-player campaign, can easily be translated over to a Fable, to a Gears E-Day, to the next Halo, to the next Forza, and it could do things, and they should do things that they're just not used to doing. And as fans, as Xbox fans, we're not used to seeing them do. Getting Activision involved, I think, is going to be key, and I think they should follow suit. What are your thoughts?
Boom. I don't know if you remember a couple months ago that an article came out that they were saying that the Xbox marketing, wish they had the funding that PlayStation had.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember that. Also, we saw that the lead marketing guy, I don't know if he got laid off or he retired. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. But it seems like there has been some changes, which I'm really happy about, because for years I've been saying, man, their messaging is kind of, a little bit off.
Yep.
Their communication, especially with the developers, has been a little bit off too, because we saw like a couple things come out with devs, the whole Entora situation, which that was kind of like, I'm still with that one, but with the rest of the other guys, that they were like lacking a little bit of communication with the devs, and a lot of things that's just been happening around that just need to get some fixing. Now, what's interesting about this is that they're finally getting around it and they're fixing everything. They're actually bringing it down, right? I mean, they're actually bringing it down. They're making it way better than how it is, because, man, like I said, Call of Duty has been everywhere. That's also beautiful marketing. Now, what Xbox needs to do for me, because, boom, I don't know if you felt this, Mr. Boomstick, but me, for example, me when I saw that beautiful golden console. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I was announced like 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh man, I saw that picture. I looked at my console and said, you know what? You're gonna go away now because I'm getting that golden console. But when I saw that thing in the raffle, man, I was depressed, man. That really broke my heart right there.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, brother.
It's heartbreaking. They need to bring that stuff back. I mean, literally, I was sitting here thinking, like, man, I'm gonna sell this thing for how much? You know, I was already doing the math in my head. Literally, when I saw that console. They're
giving $400 for it, dude. That'd have been a great trade-in, man.
That's not here. You know, here it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I know. But at the end of the day, though, I would have got that golden console. It was beautiful. They need to come back to that. I mean, I cannot wait to see the Gears of War one because for me, the best Gears of War console was the Gears of War. I think it was 3 or 4. The one that was red, the Xbox One S. That was a beautiful console. Beautiful console. But yeah. The marketing is getting better. Super dope, super hyped up with this, man. I'm super hyper with everything that's going on. They're on ESPN. They're pretty much everywhere, which is awesome. And yes, Xbox got to keep this marketing going with everything and anything that's coming on to Xbox from their studios and everything. They got to grab division and say, hey, promote our stuff. Let's get it out there. You know, let's get people hyped up for what we do is gaming. That's what you got to do at the end of the day. You got to get the people hyped up for that. Now, for game industry biz situation, I know you mentioned the game industry biz.
Yes.
I sit there and I read that article. For me, that was like the joke of, I don't know, I think it could be the joke of the year, the joke of the month, because I got to throw a little bit of slander on that. Why did I got to throw a little bit of slander? Because all they talked about was Call of Duty Black Ops 6. That's all I talked about. But I was like, what are they happening for? I mean, I'm asking myself, where have they been for years? Because, I mean, Call of Duty, Activision, Blizz, right? I mean, Activision Blizz is a big thing. So whatever Warzone generates, it's money. Whatever Blizzard generates, it's money. We saw the other day that Diablo generated from revenue, 1 billion already. So is it bringing in the money? Yes, because y'all try to push an act that it's just Black Ops 6. It's not just Black Ops 6. There's so much stuff out there that is attached to this deal that is bringing in the money. You got King, you got all that stuff that's just bringing in that money in. That's what they're doing. So at the end, I mean, when I was reading that article, I was just laughing. That's what I was doing, Mr. Wilson. I was just doing.
Yeah, it was a clickbait piece, which of course I unfortunately clicked on it because I don't want to make a comment without reading the article, because then if I get it wrong, then I'm the boob. So of course I had to read the article, and it was exactly what I thought it was going to be, just another ridiculous thing for clicks, as a lot of these sites have happened in the last couple of years. It's and hate on Xbox and win.
Yeah,
right?
That's how it is.
That's just unfortunately the rhetoric. But look, I do want to give a shout out to Bobby Singh in the chat. Now, Bobby just sent over in my DM a commercial for the Replacer. Now, apparently, this is the biggest sports news channel in the UK. And I have it queued. I want to bring it up. I don't think I'm going to get. It's going to hurt the channel to play it because obviously it's a Call of Duty commercial. But I do want to do a quick screen share and share with you, fine folks. This is the kind of marketing. And again, it's silly. It's silly. It's 31 seconds. It's not long, but it's fun. It's funny. It's just hilarious. So let me just do a quick screen share here live. And I'll show you, fine folks, exactly what I am talking about. Let me blow it up on this screen here. Let me go back here. Okay, so why isn't it showing? Got to bring this. Oh, add to the stage. Okay, so let me just get rid of this. And you guys and gals can see exactly what I'm seeing. Let's see. Okay, so here it is. This is the commercial that just dropped, Jamie. You would know because obviously you live in the UK. This is the newest, The Replacer. He apparently visits Sky Sports, the news host.
Where's Mike?
Well, great question, Haley. Please out to your beloved Mikey fancies himself some Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Don't you worry. I've been practicing. Go!
Didn't think I'd see that.
Now, I mean, again, is it silly? It is silly, but it is also hilarious. I mean, again, this is the biggest sports channel in the UK. Jamie, you can confirm or deny that.
Oh yeah.
And here we are, we're laughing. It's a sports show that has now incorporated Call of Duty into it. Again, it's this is the kind of unbelievable marketing that we knew was going to come over with Activision. I just actually hope that it somehow transitions over. And again, I don't expect it, gentlemen, to be 1-to-1. You know, Microsoft, Xbox Game Studios are going to always do what Xbox Game Studios do, or what they've used to do. I just would love to see a more tenacious, if you will, way of marketing. And again,
I agree.
And I'll say this is a bit of an extra piece of the conversation, gentlemen, that I just want to go to, because there are a lot of people in the chat talking about this, and I do want to get to it. But before I actually get to that particular part of the conversation, I do want to catch up on Super Chats. And we got to thank, once again, Aries_EMS for gifting 5 Double Barrel Gaming memberships. Aries, thank you so much for the generosity. As always, it's consistent, and we do greatly appreciate it. Not to be outdone, Will Broke Boy Lewis has once again did a $5 super chat, and he says, got the notice today for my Black Ops 6 Series X wrap. It shipped, says arriving tomorrow, but will probably be here Thursday or Friday. I actually just went and looked at my emails. I did get it yesterday. It does say that FedEx will be delivering it here tomorrow, and usually FedEx for New Rochelle is pretty good. So if I do get it, I'm going to do it's not really going to be an unboxing, but I'm going to give you guys and gals the tour of it. I also got an OG gray wrap from the OG Xbox from the fine folks over at Extreme Consoles. If you remember, I did a video about the crystal green one. Well, they sent me their version of the OG Xbox wrap, which I'm also going to be doing a video for as well. So shout out to Extreme Consoles, who have been killing it with their what they consider to be the smart wraps. They have a Nuka-Cola machine. They have actual Coca-Cola machine. They did one of the Ghostbusters HQ, which looks really dope. And of course, they did the crystal green OG Xbox, and now the new OG Xbox in that gray, which looked really good. But thank you, Will, as always. So I'm gonna go right back to Crazy Lou on this one. Crazy Lou,
What's up?
We've seen some people talk about it. You made mention of it. I want to get your hot take on Xbox Game Pass marketing, because there are a lot of people that say that it needs help, and I'd be the first one to agree with it. I don't know. I know there's been some changes. I know the person in charge at the beginning of the year is no longer there, and I think that's a good thing. I do not think they market Xbox Game Pass enough. I don't know what the actual particulars are, considering that there is still an open litigation with the FTC, and maybe that is why we're not seeing Game Pass here, there, and everywhere. We are seeing it. I don't think we're seeing it enough personally, based on, just for comparisons, the marketing that Call of Duty is doing, especially with Xbox Game Pass. There's been quite a few pieces out there. I really want to see Xbox do that type of marketing, take some pages out of the Activision playbook and incorporate it, especially for Xbox Game Pass, because I don't think people understand. The average Joe gamer probably doesn't understand what Game Pass is and the ridiculous value that is in there. I mean, just for shits and giggles, if you look at the next 4 big games coming into Xbox Game Pass, of course, it's Call of Duty Black Ops 6. You got Indiana Jones in November.
Yeah.
and I'm sorry, in December, and
December.
2 big ones
Stalker
in
2.
November, in Flight Simulator 2024, and of course you have Stalker 2.
Mhm.
Those are massive games, every one of them. And I don't think people understand the value that it offers. They need to do a better job. Do you think they need to incorporate some of that oomph, if you will, for what they do with Activision into Xbox Game Pass marketing?
Because here's what I saw, right, with the whole Call of Duty situation. We know there's been a couple marketing things, right, going on. But all of a sudden, like, while it started to get close, I saw it just went boom. It just started to grow. We just saw the replacer being everywhere, you know, ESPN, all this stuff. Then we just get a bunch of commercials out there, which is freaking awesome. And it's close to the week that it comes out. Now, for example, Indiana Jones, this weekend, I saw something beautiful. I saw them showing the console, which of course my tears were rolling out of my eyes. Like, yeah, I want that. You know, I want to get that. I want to get that. Even so, I want to get that. She's like, no, you're not going to spend that money. I said, no, it's for a wrap. She's like, thank God. But either way, though, right? I saw there was an F1 car wrapped in Indiana Jones. F1. I mean, I was like, yo, boom, that's a lot of money.
Yes.
When we're talking about Formula One marketing, that's millions and millions of dollars. Millions. I mean, I was happy to see a car wrapped with Indiana Jones, pretty much fully wrapped. It was a beautiful thing. So what I see for Stalker 2, right? I saw that, I think it was like 2 weeks ago or probably a week. I don't remember. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. They did like a video, talk about the game, the development of the game. So yes, they're doing what they have to do, like for the marketing it needs, you know, they're letting the devs go out there and talk about it, you know, throw more stuff about Stalker 2. And like I said, for Indiana Jones, we got the gold console, which of course, again, I cried my ass out, right? Of course. And we also saw the F1 car. And I was like, oh man, these guys are really pushing that envelope. You know, they're pushing that money. It says, let's go. Let's pour in the money with how things are going. Now, one thing I saw, I don't remember if it was a month ago or 2 ago on Game Pass. I remember they showed like a little trailer that was pretty smoking cool. I mean, that trailer showed you like this month for Game Pass, you know, you're getting this. They showed us a little bit about the game, then you're getting another one. You know, they started to roll the games they were showing, which was interesting. That's something they should have to keep on doing because, you know, Game Pass needs that love. Yes, Game Pass needs that love. Another thing that I saw from the whole Call of Duty thing, because a lot of people, boom, I know you heard this many of times, right? And I've seen this too. We sometimes ask, but wait, where's the Xbox? You know, the box and stuff. Where's the Xbox, right? Now, for Call of Duty, we saw that when they announced it for cloud, we saw that box right in the picture. I was like, thank God. You know, that's a beautiful thing. And I hope they keep on pushing it because they got to keep pushing that box, the box itself, right? So, yeah, I mean, I see some stuff that happens out there that they need to keep on fixing. But at the end of the day, look at Metaphor Refantasio, look at Persona 3, look at all these games that have been announced, you know, from the Xbox marketing, how well they have gone.
Yes.
The thing is, boom, that what doesn't help Xbox is all these sites and everything that don't see what's going on. I mean, I got a question, and this is a serious question. What has happened on the other side of the companies? What has happened over there compared to what Xbox has been doing for the last 2 or 3 weeks? I mean, this past 2 or 3 weeks has all been Xbox Mobile. Ever since Xbox announced the mobile thing, it's been Xbox. Then we have Xbox Call of Duty, you know, cloud. Then we had Xbox Call of Duty commercials. The
Metaphor commercials have been on point.
The Metaphor commercials, yes, I saw it on Amazon Prime here. I mean, I have Amazon Prime in my whole house. That's what I use, right? The Amazon Fire Stick, I mean, and I saw the commercials on there. I'm like, you see, this is what I need to see. This is the stuff I need to see Xbox push the envelope on. And those games were not on Game Pass. Okay, like Metaphor was not on Game Pass. Persona 3 was not on Game Pass. I think, yeah, Persona 3 was.
Persona 3 remake was.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Not Metaphor. Metaphor was not on Game Pass, right? But I'm happy to see that they're actually pushing it. But the thing is, what we've seen these past couple of days is media throwing the slander. Media, you know, trying to throw the Xbox under the bus. But Xbox has been the only one talking about games. Now, on Sony's side, what they're talking about? Playing violins, going to 200 countries, doing an orchestra. And not only that, PS5 Pro. I mean, man, that's all you guys talk about, a PS5 Pro. I mean, damn. Let the console come out, and after it comes out, we'll dig into it. I mean, damn. We don't even know the specs of that thing yet. I mean, there was a sheet out there. I don't know if it's real, but like I said, until it's confirmed by the company, right? Hey, we know what's in the specs in the console. But at the end, that's all you guys talk about. PS5 Pro, Alan Wade looks at 30, blah, 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 PS5 Pro this, PS5 Pro that, and the orchestra. That's all there is on PlayStation. Nothing else. Nothing else. Now, Nintendo's kind of got a little bit silent, but okay, right? It's cool. But Microsoft has been games. We had the showcase last week on Thursday, which
was fan-freaking-tastic.
Oh my God, that showcase was beautiful. I mean, I was even jamming to a song. You saw me dancing and jamming out there. I'm not joking. I was jamming. I have a video out there on Twitter, me jamming to that song. That was a beautiful, and oh man, I was just excited. They just really nailed it down with all these showcases. Not only that, bro, this year alone, the king of the showcase this year is Xbox. It's the truth. I mean, we cannot say it's fake. You know, we're probably going to be clipped by this, but I don't give a damn. At the end of the day, I'm speaking out the truth. Xbox has had a solid year on showcases. This is January, the June. What else? Which ones was other? The Gamescom. I mean, everything was beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
I mean, some people would argue that that it wasn't a big push for TGS 24. I disagree. I
disagree too.
Yeah, I look at it from an audience. They're not selling it to me. I'm already sold on Xbox. That is for the Japanese audience, but I still gave it. I think it was either a 7.5 or an 8.0.
Because boom,
I think it's fair.
Here's the thing: what has people been saying? Xbox has been missing a lot is the JRPGs, and all. And now they gave you not JRPGs; they gave you a shitload of JRPGs, and you're out here complaining because they gave you JRPGs.
Indeed.
I mean, dude, they've done so much to please the Xbox community. I mean, we as a community, we gotta be happy with what they're giving us. Not only that, you got Trials of Mana on Game Pass, you got the Visions of Mana on Game Pass, but you got all this stuff coming to Game Pass. Not only that, for $20. Come on. Yeah. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. And now look, right now, what we did yesterday, went in there like, yeah, let's go get our Volt Edition, baby. Let's go pay the $30, man. We're gonna get a Volt Edition to launch on Friday and shoot each other. We're gonna have fun. That's what we all did.
Yeah,
that's what we all did. I mean, Xbox has got us gaming. That's what this got us gaming. Not talking specs, not talking orchestra. No, we're gaming right here. That's what we're doing, bro. That's what we're doing. And I'm happy that Xbox, like I said, with the marketing, picked up. They needed a pickup. They needed a pickup, and it's been fabulous. We called it. I just hope they keep with that pickup because, like I said, they're not promoting the other games. Yeah, not true. Because after I saw that clip of a Formula One wrapped with India, I mean, literally the whole car is wrapped.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
That's big bucks, man. That's big bucks. Yeah, 100%.
They're pushing it.
Jamie, let's bring you in on the conversation before we get to outros, and we'll catch up on any super chats if they pop in there. Look, Xbox Game Pass, it's clear. I said it on Twitter. And I'm probably getting clipped as we speak, that if you don't find value in Xbox Game Pass, you lack common sense. Now, is I'm not being insulting to anybody, but we're just being fair here. The amount of games that you get for $20 a month is unrivaled. Sony can't afford to do it, and Nintendo, even though I subscribe to their $60 a year service, gives you old games, which I'm great with. Like I like playing some of the older stuff. I'm hoping that eventually they get over to GameCube stuff, which would be really dope. Which I hope is happening sooner than later. But there's no denying that Xbox Game Pass and its value is unlike anything in gaming currently. The problem here is that Xbox Game Pass subscribers know that, right? But I think the issue at hand is the normies. 85%+ of the populace who actually play games on all consoles, who are considered the casual gamer, they don't know about it. And I think that Microsoft is at fault for not having the proper marketing. Seeing what's going on with Call of Duty, seeing what's going on with Activision and their marketing, I would like to believe that some of that tenacity, if you will come over to Xbox Game Pass, steal a few pages from what Activision is doing specifically with Call of Duty and make that the running narrative for Doom Eternal, right? Which we know is done by Bethesda, but specifically Xbox Game Studios. I want to see a marketing blitz for Joanna Dark and Fable and many of the other games that are coming out from first party. Games like South of Midnight, it's a new IP. The character, the protagonist looks amazing. I cannot wait to learn about more of her story, but we need viral marketing for a game specifically like that because people don't know who it is. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that some people just don't get Game Pass, like they don't see the value in it, it blows my mind. Because even if you're not in it for the new games, like you can subscribe, try things out that you maybe never like thought of playing before. Because the best thing about Game Pass is that it introduces people to different kinds of games. You know, I always use one of my friends as an example, but I'll use him again and pause. So when Game Pass came out, you know, initially, my friend, he only played first-person shooters. Like he only played first-person shooter campaigns and multiplayer. That was literally it. And then when he got Game Pass and he got an Xbox One X, he played this little game called The Witcher 3. And it turned out he loved it. And now, as a consumer, he plays mainly RPGs. Right? Game Pass changed him as a consumer. So now he went from someone that buys 1 or 2 first-person shooters a year to now buying dozens of games a year. Right? Xbox makes more money now off him as a consumer because of Game Pass. Changed his buying habits. And that's the biggest deal, right? Yes, it's great to have a massive library there. Yes, you have day one games, but it changes people's playing habits. And I think Microsoft knows this. I know a few people this has happened to. And like, look at the value proposition alone. You have like hundreds of games, not just the new games, but you have hundreds of games. You have discounts for games that are in the service. So if something's about to leave, you're not going to miss out because you get a decent discount. You have the perk system. Sometimes you get like multiple months of Spotify Premium. Like it's a very good service. And the sad thing is, not a lot of people still know about Game Pass. Like I have to explain to a lot of people what Game Pass is. Even people that are on Xbox, which blows my mind because it's plastered all over the place. But Microsoft needs to do marketing better, not just for Game Pass, but for their games, which also launch in Game Pass. And like the whole Call of Duty thing, I hope really opens up the minds and eyes over at Microsoft, because viral marketing in the modern day works. Right? Everyone's always connected. Everyone's always playing the memes. Hell, if something bad happens in real life, people instantly meme it because, you know, why not make a laugh out of something? Maybe, you know, have some joy. But when it comes to gaming, like, I think it's the best way going forward. This isn't the 360 generation where, you know, AAA games weren't really releasing digitally. We got an indie game occasionally. Like the Xbox Live Store is filled with thousands of games. Right? Some games just get missed out on. And Xbox, for the past several years, they just don't market their first party games that well. They just don't, right? Halo, yes, that was all over the place, but I should have seen, let's say, Gears Tactics ads everywhere, Hellblade 2 ads everywhere, Hi-Fi Rush ads everywhere, but I didn't. And they can learn. I think they will. And I think, you know, them, especially having the Call of Duty marketing team now, is going to work really well for them. They just need to apply that to things like Indiana Jones, like you said, Doom the Dark Ages, Perfect Dark, because they bringing back IP that they haven't had for a very long time. Like Fable might be a household name to us, but when Fable comes out next year, they need to shout it from a mountaintop. They need to tell everyone what Fable is. They need to do the same with Perfect Dark, because we haven't had Perfect Dark for what? Almost 20 years,
maybe more than that, dude. I mean, the last official one was during the Xbox 360 launch window.
Yeah, so like they need to push hard with this marketing for all these games going forward. And you know, yes, we've heard in the past that, you know, people from Microsoft said they don't have the marketing dollars Sony does, but I think Call of Duty might actually tell people at Microsoft maybe they should push forward with marketing, because it clearly it works. Like people.
Yes.
like Black Ops is everywhere at the minute. Like literally, like you just posted that clip, Sky News, Sky Sports. Like I'd never expected that, right? And it clearly works. People are talking about it. Even people I know that don't play Call of Duty have mentioned the replacer.
Yeah,
and viral marketing just works. So
it does.
Hopefully they do learn from this, because they have a lot of cool games coming out over the next several years. They actually have a roadmap of games. And they do the same with Game Pass. Let people know what the service is. Let people know what they're getting into. But yeah,
I just hope that they do follow suit. Again, the sales numbers are going to be indicative of what you expect a Call of Duty to come in, right? It's Call of Duty. It's the look. I don't care what team you play for. There's no bigger game currently today in gaming than Call of Duty. And that is now owned by Microsoft. That is now Xbox first party. That is now going into Xbox Game Pass. That is massive. I don't know what the particulars are, the numbers are going to be one-to-one of getting new subscribers. But I can say that if you remember when Starfield released last year, it brought new subscribers, and it broke records. Every record before it of new subscribers for a game launching in Game Pass day and date. That was Starfield. This is going to, I potentially bring in 5 times that amount, maybe more, because it's Call of Duty. So we will see what the ratio is. And again, I know that there's been a lot of talk about, the Xbox is losing sales. Not necessarily, because I think that most gamers, someone like myself, see, why would I buy the Vault Edition for $100 if I don't play online? I normally wouldn't. So Xbox Game Pass is now getting Black Ops 6. What did I do? The second I got done playing the beta, I bought the Vault Edition for $30. That is virtual currency that they would not have gotten from me. And I believe that they're going to get that $30 currency from other people, Jamie being one of them, who does not play multiplayer, but is now going to, because of the Omni movement and because of everything new that's coming to the multiplayer, that we've all witnessed. And I believe there's going to be more. But interestingly enough to that, not just ending there, when Master Chief goes into Black Ops 6 as a playable operator, do you know how many people are going to buy that? I'm not talking about 1 million. I'm saying millions with an S. And if they're smart, that will be made available on PlayStation. So Xbox gamers who were Xbox gamers that are now PlayStation gamers can play as Master Chief the same way they can if they play Fortnite. When you buy a character, it's cross-pollination. And I hope, and again, I'm assuming it's not going to end there. There's Doom Guy. There's the Power Armor. There is Gears of War you can tap into. You can bring in Joanna Dark. I mean, if they can do a Nicki Minaj a character skin, why not a Joanna Dark? Because I would spend the money on that. I mean, they've had Ash. They've had Snoop Dogg. Tons of them. So this, I think, is going to be a road that they're going to travel. Hopefully, Xbox uses their minds and actually take the IP that they have sitting on shelves and incorporate it into operators that you and I can buy on Black Ops 6. And they're going to be making money hand over fist. Mind you, this is only, and I'm not being facetious, folks, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. This same game is going to be coming to as potentially a launch title next year for the Switch 2. That is going to be another market that's untapped. And I think they're going to make big bucks over there. And I'm not saying you're going to see a Mario skin, but you never know. You could potentially see a Samus skin, right? That would be kind of dope. I mean, she does shoot, so why not give her a gun? But listen, at the end of the day, I hope that you enjoyed today's show. Again, it was great to have Louis back. Great to have, obviously, Jamie here, as always. We will get Infinite Number back next week. Again, he was under the weather, and hopefully he's feeling better soon. And let me just make sure we're up to date on Super Chats, and then we will get everyone out of here so you can continue your Tuesday. Jamie, let's sell your brand, brother, because obviously you have a show with Logan Meyer later today, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, called All Things Xbox. And of course, it's a two-man show, just like we started out today's show. You and Logan can consistently have fun. You make jokes. You talk positively about Xbox. And I expect that to happen this evening. By all means, sell the brand. Where could people subscribe to your YouTube channel? And more importantly, find you on social media?
Hey, thanks, Boom. It's always a pleasure doing this podcast with you guys. But yeah, so my YouTube channel is The Elusive Game. I exclusively cover Xbox with a dash of Mass Effect thrown in there. I have All Things Xbox podcast, which is on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's a positive Xbox show, and there's no fanboy stuff. The chat's always fun over there. And we should be talking about a bunch of JRPG stuff tonight, as well as some Indiana Jones stuff. Should be exciting. But yeah, at 6 p.m. Eastern tonight. And my Twitter is Jamie Man UK, where I talk about gaming and jokes.
Well, we're happy to have you here. We definitely appreciate you being here every week, and obviously we hope that we're selling your brand to get people to check out All Things Xbox, and of course the videos that you painstakingly do. Which some of his videos, folks, they might be 11 minutes, they might be 10 minutes, but they're 20 plus hours worth of back end video development work. Again, if you didn't know this, when it comes to making a video, like for instance, you look at like a Colt Eastwood, that guy makes probably some of the best videos in the business. I like Colt a lot, and he's a paraprofessional. For every minute of a particular video, that is an hour plus worth of production time. So when I used to do the videos, before I said, you know what, no more videos. I'd rather talk live to you and spend and hang out with these fine folks that we are hanging out with today. A 10-minute video was 10 plus hours of production work. That's a lot of freaking work, man. And it makes it worse that you get 300 people to click on and watch it. So it's, again, the people that do consistently, like, oh no, it's Alex. Like, he's hilarious. I like Alex a lot. He is funny. And he does his videos. He'd be the first one to tell you he puts a lot of production work into it. Again, I know he slaps his ass a lot and slides around on a chair, which is what he's known for. But again, it looks like it's just fun. It's not. It's a lot of work, and Jamie does put a lot of work into his videos, and I would like to see more people check them out. But Louis, let's talk about the Xbox International Podcast Wednesday evenings, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and there is even a version for people and gamers who only speak Spanish, which I think is absolutely amazing. By all means, tell everyone about the Xbox International Podcast, where they can subscribe, and more importantly, follow you, kind sir, on social media.
Oh, man, Mr. BoomStick, it's always awesome hanging out with you, man. I'm glad I could hop on today. I'm glad I could take the time to say, let me hop on and have some fun, man. Always awesome being hanging out with you guys on here. Always. You can find the crazy one, simple and easy, at Twitter, X, Crazy Louie Gaming. That's where you can find the crazy one right there. Also, good morning with Crazy Lou Gaming. I've been doing that for quite some time. From Mondays to Saturdays, I just send the signal out. I say, hey, I'm going on live, and that's it. You guys got to hop on to see Crazy Louie in the morning and have fun, chit chat, and all that stuff. Also, Xbox International Podcast at 7 p.m. ET with Sound Blow, Silent Cypher, and the Big Plume on 7 p.m. ET on Wednesdays and Fridays. XPI en Español for you guys who speak Spanish. XPI en Español at 7 p.m. ET with Captain Elvin, ASCAP Gaming, Eternal Shaddai, and Metal Berserker. When they invite me, of course, but yes, that's where you can find the crazy one.
Well, listen, it's great to have you back, brother. And obviously, we want to see you back here on a more consistent basis because obviously you bring a lot of knowledge and a wealth of fun to the show. And hopefully, folks, you enjoyed the show enough to hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed, of course, Mrs. Boom and I are on the hunt for 16K. I don't think we're going to hit it this year because we're at 15.2 and change right now. It would be, listen, you never know, right? Something big can happen and we can get 700 plus subs in a month or two. It's unlikely, but if you are finding the channel for the first time and you enjoyed the conversation, please consider subscribing. Of course, if you're being extra generous, you want to share this out on the socials, let people know that there is an Xbox show that doesn't just use hate rhetoric to pad its numbers. We actually come here, we have conversations, we read articles, we give people credit for the articles, and we give opinions. We don't do stake and ground facts and get it wrong. And when we get it wrong, we do come out and say, hey, well, we got it wrong. And that's something that I pride myself on doing here on Double Barrel Gaming. And of course, a big thank you to all of the super chats that came in today, all the channel memberships that happen and continue to happen, thanks to the generosity of many people in this chat, like Aries_EMS and Will Broke Boy Lewis, and several others who consistently donate those memberships to, of course, people in the chat. And of course, I want to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me, folks. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And they would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor Podcast.